We know how to work together towards common goals. That's why he and Vice President Harris are fighting for a new way forward, where everyone in red and blue states, in urban and rural communities, has the opportunity to not just get by, but to get ahead. They have a plan to cut costs for families, to create more jobs and increase opportunity, and to protect reproductive rights and access to health care. It couldn't be more different from Donald Trump, who has always been out for just himself. And a second Trump term would be even more dangerous than the first. This one would be without any guardrails. This election is a clear choice between two futures for our country. One dark and vengeful, and one optimistic and inspirational. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz's vision is for a better and brighter future, led by hope that inspires others to join in, much like our little blue dot does. Now let's in on a little secret. In 1991, when I signed the bill as governor that created our fair and representative electoral vote system, I wanted to make sure that we would no longer be a flyover state. And that Nebraskans would have a voice heard on the national level. And now, these past few months, we've seen just how bright that blue dot shines. That Nebraskans are ready to lead the way into a future where everyone's rights are protected and respected, where America leads on the world stage, and where hate and fear have no place. The state I know and love, I couldn't be prouder that we're going to send Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to the White House. We'll sleep when we're dead, but I'm going to make it a little easier for you. We'll sleep on November the 6th. But for the next 17 days, we've got to work for it. Make sure you vote, but don't stop there. Talk to your friends and family. Sign up to volunteer. Make a difference. We're counting on you. Our country is counting on you.
and fellow Nebraskans.
Somebody feel very, very welcome. Can you do a round of applause for these individuals, please? So, hi everybody, my name is Tony Vargas. It's very, very nice to meet you all. Now, for Nebraska, who is excited to see Tim Walz? Woo! Listen, I know you know this, but this election, Nebraska, is so, so important. You know why? For determining control of Congress, if we have someone who truly, truly represents our values and who will fight for working class families in the United States House of Representatives, unlike Congressman Bacon and his extremism, we need new leadership, everybody. And here's the thing, we have to put some hope, some joy, and optimism in the Oval Office with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And we are in it. We are in it right now. I know you feel it because voting has started in Nebraska. Well, actually, I have a question for you all. Raise your hand if you've already voted. There you go. Now, raise your hand if you're voting on Election Day. Raise your hand if you're bringing 15 people to the polls and you're helping people get to the polls. It doesn't matter if you're voting early or in person or on Election Day. There are so many reasons why we vote. For some of us, it's for our families and children, so that we actually have economic security, so we can build wealth. Now, for some of us, it's for our freedoms. The freedom for women to make decisions about their own bodies. The freedom to live freely in your own skin without fear. The freedom to pursue the American dream, whatever that looks like for you. And for some of us, it's because we know that a second Trump term would be even worse. Look, no matter what your reason is, we all know that the most critical thing that we can do, and that each and every single one of you can do, is make sure that your voice is heard. You can go to iwillvote.com to make your plan to vote and make it happen. Now today, I am joined by some of the many voices in our community that are ready to vote for a new way forward and are ready to put the darkness and division of Donald Trump behind us. And they have each joined us here to share their reason why with every single person out here today. Now, as they share, I bet a lot of you are going to feel what they're saying, and it's going to resonate. Their stories make so much sense because they're Nebraskans. We need to make sure that we're showing them the kind of support and that we're ready to get out there and vote, not only for Kamala, not only for Harris and Walz and Democrats up and down ballot, but to show them the warmth and support that is needed to build the excitement between now and these next 17 days. So I want you to give these individuals an amazing round of applause. Let's show them some energy. Let's show them that compassion. Let's show them that love. First person. This is for you. This is for you all. This is for you all. First person that we've got is a dear friend, Nancy Williams. Please join us to share your reason why.
Thank you, Tony. Hello, everybody. My name is Nancy. 2 years ago, everything changed for women in this country. When Roe versus Wade was overturned by Supreme Court justices appointed by Donald Trump, I knew that I couldn't just sit back and watch. I believe each of us has the right to make our own personal medical decisions. Yes. I believe that women and people with the capacity for pregnancy across the country are in danger because we lost the protection of Roe. And Trump will only make that worse if he is elected president. My plan is to vote on Election Day. The right to vote is hard-won, and I do not take it for granted. I am grateful every time I step into the voting booth, and especially this year. I'm voting for my rights, I'm voting for my freedoms, and I'm voting for our liberty. I'm voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Hi, my name is Alexander, and I was born and raised in Nebraska, and I'm a student at UNO. This November, for the first time, I'll get to have a say in the future of this country by casting a vote for president. And that vote will be for Kamala Harris. I'm voting for Kamala so my generation can have the same opportunities that generations before us had to build a family and a future on our own terms and nobody else's. So we can focus on our education instead of worrying about being safe in our own classrooms. I'm voting because I know we can't afford another Trump presidency, which we know would be even more dangerous than the last one. And by voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, I also get to vote for a teacher, a coach, and a Nebraskan who understands the importance of having Nebraska students' backs and letting them be exactly who they are while loving who they love. I'm voting in person on Election Day because I will not let my future be decided for me. I'm going to be making my voice heard.
Hello, my name is Ellen. I am proud wife, mother, and native Nebraskan. I grew up in a conservative family. I was never really politically engaged.
We want to hear you.
Thank you, Tony. Start over? Yeah. Okay, so hello, my name is Ellen. I am a proud wife, mother, and native Nebraskan. I was raised in a conservative family. I was never really politically engaged. But that all changed when I watched Vice President Kamala Harris deliver her first campaign speech this summer. It was in that moment that I realized what was truly at stake this election. On one hand, a man who's more concerned with giving his rich friends tax breaks than fighting for everyday Americans. A man who called for the termination of the U.S. Constitution. And who said he would use the military to go after his fellow Americans. And we all know he would be even more dangerous and unhinged in a second term. On the other, we have a great leader in the vice president. She will fight for our reproductive freedoms, our health care, and support the middle class. am voting to give my son a better life. A life with more opportunity, more compassion, and more decency. That's why I was so proud to put my ballot in the mail and vote for Kamala Harris. And my vote has been accepted. But this is not just for my family. This is for the future of America. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ruth. Does that work? I'll do it again. Hi, I'm Ruth.
Hello, I am Jason.
Now, you may have noticed across the neighborhoods in the Omaha area some happy little blue dot signs going up lately.
So, where did all of those blue dot signs come from? Well, it did start with us creating first blue dot sign. But then something happened. Well, we made 10 for our neighbors, and then that went off the charts, and then we were making 100, and then we were making 500 and 1,000, and then finally we ended up making 5,000 hand-painted blue dot signs that made it to your yards. But then we had a little bit of a problem. You all wanted a lot of signs, and we couldn't keep up. So because we couldn't keep up, we knew we had to go a different route. And we found a local printer who cranked out 5,000 more signs. Ladies and gentlemen, there are well over 10,000 blue dot signs across Congressional District 2 because of you. So what happens now? What happens now? We are not stopping. Are you? No. We are not stopping until Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are elected the next president and vice president of the United States. So you've probably been asked, we've been asked, so what do these signs mean? These signs mean something, well, you could say small, we say no, it's mighty, because they are broadcasting across the front yards of Nebraska exactly what we're excited for. But you know what they're also telling everybody who's watching Nebraska? We are ready to turn a page and finally say so long to the darkness and division of Donald Trump. And we are thrilled to turn a page and turn that page to Kamala Harris and just to start to think about the great things that are going to happen under Kamala Harris, our next president. So folks, what can we all do? What you can do is we hope you drive around the area the next 17 days and you see blue dot sign after blue dot sign after blue dot sign, and you think to yourself, what kind of difference can one person make? Well, we'll tell you. In our case, 2 people, we can make a difference, and we know you can make a big, big difference.
So we invite you to join us in nominating and electing Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to be our next president and vice president. Because you know, signs do not vote, but you guys do.
You vote, 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 vote.
That's for you. That's for you. I love this so much. Look, you heard them. This is how we win this thing. This is how we win this election. This is how we rebuild our democracy. This is how we build the division in this country. Nebraskans, right now, can vote early at their county election office Monday through Friday. I need you to check your county's office hours for weekend availability. If you plan on voting in person during early voting or on election day, be sure to bring your photo ID. Talk to your friends and family. Make sure it's known. It should be very clear. And if you have a mail-in ballot, make sure to sign the envelope, return it in the mail to the county election office, or you can drop it in one of the drop boxes that's conveniently all across the district, all across each county. You can register to vote until October 25th in person at your county election office. Whatever your reason is, we have to come together. We have to choose unity. We have to choose our country first. Let's elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to show the world, to show the entire world, not only the power of the blue dot, the power of Nebraska, the power of this second district. Now, if you are ready to do more than just vote, and you just heard it from the Blue Dot creators, signs don't vote, they mean a heck of a lot, but we're gonna take that extra step. I'm asking you to give a round of applause to Tiffany, who's gonna tell you how we can get involved, how each and every one of you can get involved over these next 17 days. Let's do a warm round of applause for Tiffany, please.
Hello, Nebraska. My name is Tiffany Darden, and I am a regional organizing director on the Harris-Walz campaign. And I am feeling so inspired after everyone shared their why. Talking to our friends and neighbors, sharing our reasons for supporting Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and all the Democrats up and down the ballot, that's how we win. This election is going to be close. I know you all are reading the news and feeling anxious just seeing how close it is. The best way to help calm those nerves is to do something. Find one of our organizers with a clipboard and sign up for a volunteer shift, whether it's calling folks on the phone, knocking door-to-door canvassing, hosting a house party, or even being a general office volunteer. We have volunteers in North Omaha, South Omaha, and West Omaha. And shout out to our organizers. I want you guys to raise your hands. Yeah! Sign up on those clipboards, and to make it easier, you can also text your name and email to 402-973-2703. That's 402-973-2703, or find one of our organizers with the clipboard. But trust me, it really does help you feel better. There are just 17 days left in this election. Yes, we are calling you. Yes, we are knocking on your door. And it is just 17 more days of that, and we need your help. We are asking for just a few hours of your time in these next 70 days. That's all. And I really mean it when I say you could be the difference maker in this election. So remember your reason why. Find one of the organizers here and join us as we make Kamala Harris the next president of the United States.
name's Blaine McKillop. In 1980, I registered as a Republican and cast my first vote for Ronald Reagan. You know, you grow. In every election since then, and until 2020, I voted the Republican ticket. Have your say. I already apologized to Ben Nelson backstage. But Donald Trump changed that. Donald Trump ignores the truth and the rule of law. He belittles and he denigrates Americans, including our veterans and our war heroes. He divides our country into us versus them. Trump encouraged a mob to attack the Capitol, to try to overthrow the results of a free and fair election. He has turned this country that I love into something much darker that serves only him at the expense of us. As we all know, and especially watching him recently, he's become unhinged. And over the past few months, we now know that second Trump administration would be something dark and dangerous to our country. So as a lifelong Republican, I'm proud to support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because I know that he'll support the Constitution and uphold the rule of law. They have a real vision, not a concept of a plan, to expand the middle class, cut costs for families, secure the border, and reform immigration. One other thing, my dad was a football coach in Kimball, Nebraska in the 50s. When I learned that Tim Walz was a football coach in Alliance, I realized then that he was one of us. He's a true Nebraskan. And with that, I am so very honored to introduce the next Vice President of the United States of America, Tim Walz.
Hello again, neighbors. It's good to be home. So, can we all agree the small town song fits most of us here? Well, first of all, thank you to Blaine. This is a state and a country that is willing to put their country above their politics. That's exactly what Blaine did. Not from Nebraska. So, folks, first of all, I got to give a huge thank you. This state has produced some of the best and the most effective politicians, like our former Senator Ben Nelson. Look, we got some elections coming up, as you know. I want to give some thank you to all those folks who run for office, put themselves out there and their families out there. Give a big thank you to Preston Love Jr. for putting himself out there to run. And I'm guessing we got a few folks here from Lincoln, right? There we go. Look, there's enough votes in Lincoln. Let's make sure we elect Carol Blood in that and win these seats that go. Do that. And when Kamala Harris is president, which is happening here in 17 days, people, we're going to need a Congress that actually knows what work looks like for the American people. Send Tony Vargas there and put Democrats in charge. And for all of you, I'm gonna, if you give me a point of personal privilege, today's pretty special to me. My big sister's here today in support, and I'm just glad to say thank you to Sandy. Like all of us, most of our family's with us, so thank you for that. So grateful. Also, thank you. I got the Butte crowd here and the Valentine crowd and the Alliance crowd, so thank you for that. And to every single one of you here, look, it's a beautiful day in October. It's 75 degrees. You could have been anywhere. You chose to come here because you believe in the promise of America and you love this country, so thank you. And if I could, the blue dot that has taken over the country as they know what you're doing here, let me be very clear what this blue dot symbolizes. This blue dot symbolizes democracy. It symbolizes decency. It symbolizes a woman's right to make her own choices. It's a lot more than a pin, and it's a lot more than just politics. It's about who we are as people. This state and this district are showing the rest of the democracy will run right through here. Did we have this? I thought, I saw Donald Trump's mic went bad in Detroit. You do not want me dancing for 20 minutes like this dude. Somebody on his staff should explain the YMCA song to him too, just so they know. So, let's see. We love it. Look, 17 days till this election happens, folks. Here we go. We're running because all of you are. We're leaving it all on the field, folks, because there's too much at risk. There's too much at risk. Kamala and I, we are barnstorming the country. I just saw, as I walked in here, Kamala Harris's rally down in Georgia had over 20,000 people showing up. Now we're going to win Georgia. Last time we won it, we should call Donald Trump and ask him what we won it by, 11,470 votes. We're going to win it by more, but I said, how great would it be if we won Georgia by one vote and it was Jimmy Carter's vote he cast this week? But look, we're going everywhere. We're on podcasts, we're on TV, we're doing rallies. The two of us are about one hit away from being regulars on Fox News, and that's hell. So, you know what? It takes a little stamina to run for president. It takes a lot of stamina to be president. So, you might be asking yourself, how in the hell does Donald Trump think he's going to do this? Well, I'm sure his handlers are being pretty clear. They've got him under wraps if you haven't seen this. Look, Donald's stick is old, tired, and divisive, just like him. He's refusing to face Kamala in a debate again. Can you blame him after the butt whipping he took at that? That decision not to debate again might be the smartest thing he's done in the last 4 years. So, look, they pulled him out of interviews and his team admitted he's exhausted. Canceled another talk show this week. Look, give him a break. He's nearly 80 years old. He's out there rambling, moving around. We'll give him a break. But look, he's not up to this anymore, folks. He's not up to it, and we need to make that clear. But you know what? You need to be clear about this. They know this, but you know who's sitting waiting in the wings? If you don't know, and most of you here know, there's something called the 25th Amendment, and you can be damn sure J.D. Vance has read the 25th Amendment. Look, I don't care how tired this guy is. I can promise you, he's not nearly as exhausted as we are with his crap in the last 4 years of him. But don't despair, Omaha. We're tough damn people out here. Don't despair, because he is never going to be president of the United States. Kamala Harris is. And you feel it. You feel it. She's offering a new way forward, not the same old, tired, divisive, hateful stuff. Kamala and I both grew up in middle-class families. We know that our economy works best when it's fair for everybody. It's that simple. And she's not just talking about it, she's laid out a concrete plan to make sure every single person in this country benefits from this economy. 100 million Americans will see a tax cut under Kamala Harris. Taking on the price gougers and big pharma. Those guys say, oh, you know, there's no such thing as price gouging. Anybody see what happened to hurricanes coming to Florida and airline tickets went through the roof? That's not capitalism, that's grifting. They're grifting off people. They're making money off people's back. And when it comes to things like insulin, for God's sakes, we had to pass a law in Minnesota because we had a young man named Alex Smith. He turned 26 and went off his parents' insurance. To get his insulin, he was rationing it. Alex Smith died because of that. His mom, Nicole Smith, came to the Capitol in St. Paul and said, I'll be damned if another parent loses a child over insulin, for God's sakes. And we passed a law capping insulin at $35. And you know why that's important and obscene? Because that little vial of insulin that now costs $35, they were charging $800 for it. You know how much it costs to make it? $5. $5. So our economy works best when it works for everyone. But some of you in here, and I can tell you, many of you may not be there yet, but you start getting near to 60, you start paying attention to some really smart things like Medicare and Social Security. Really smart things. This week, Kamala Harris proposed, and it's a plan we'll put in place. You send Tony Vargas there, we get a majority, we pass this and sign it into law, home care through Medicare for our seniors. Huge. I'm glad to see young people here. They don't care about this, but some of us with less hair do care. I'll tell you what, also adding to Medicare, I think most people didn't know this, adding vision and hearing to it. Look, for those of you that want to start a small business, a $50,000 tax credit to get your foot in the door and start your American dream. Look, big companies figure out a way. Some of our largest corporations pay zero in federal tax. Why isn't that going to the middle class to start our small businesses? That's what we're proposing. And look, that owning a home is just critical to you. We talk about this in Minnesota, and I know this being a Nebraskan that you have it too. The saying is, the economy works, and we all do better when we all do better. Paul Wellstone said that in Minnesota a long time ago. And it's about an economy and it's about fairness. It's about understanding that the workers that built this country should receive a fair wage. It's about understanding that health care should be a human right and that you should go home safe after work. Those are the things we care about. Now, look, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they got a little different vision of how things go. We know what they'll do. Now, be very clear. I want to give them credit because he has kept his word on a few things. When he first got to office, he made it his goal. If it weren't for John McCain, he'd have got it done. He'll do it this time. They'll gut and take away the Affordable Care Act that will kick you off if you have a pre-existing condition, stop your children from staying on your health insurance, drive up premiums, and make this country less healthy, sicker, and poorer. That's what they'll do. Look, they'll go after Medicare and Social Security, and I've said this, it doesn't matter to him if he gets his Social Security check. He's sitting down at Mar-a-Lago not paying taxes with $1 billion. It matters to my sister and my mom when she gets her Social Security check so she can buy food and eat for the house. That's how this works. And just to be clear, this is where you need to talk to your relatives, your family members, like, oh, I don't like Donald Trump's personality, but his policies are fine. Which ones are those? He's proposing putting a national sales tax on nearly everything we buy, adding about $4,000 to the average family's costs each year. That's economists saying that. China doesn't pay the tariffs, you pay the tariffs. No more than Mexico didn't pay for a damn wall that he didn't build anyway. Look, we know he kept his word on this. He took his wealthy donors down to Mar-a-Lago and he promised them. Because I've said this, Donald Trump never keeps his word. That's not true. He does sometimes. He took those wealthy donors down to Mar-a-Lago and he said, you're rich as hell and I'm going to give you a tax cut. He did it. He did it. He followed through. He also became, as he himself said, the king of debt and drove up the national debt $8 trillion, more than any president in U.S. history. So be very clear. This guy knows nothing about business except how to go bankrupt. He knows nothing about paying his bills, and he knows nothing about the middle class. Now, guys like Blaine, us, and I think there's probably some of you here that are the same place of this. The Republican Party of old contributed much to this country. When the Republican Party of old talked about freedom, they meant it. That's not these guys. That's not these guys. These guys mean that government should be free to be in your exam room with your doctor. They talk about small government, apparently small enough to fit in your bedroom with the people you're there with, or in your library to tell you what to read. Look, I use this, and you've heard me say this, I got this from my friends in Valentine and Butte and Alliance, places where I live. We respect our neighbors' choices. We don't have to agree with them. You do you, I'll do me. That's the thing we do. And look, there's that golden rule, do unto others. That's a good golden rule. I have an addendum to that too, that there's a second golden rule, mind your own damn business with it. Goes with it. Somebody said, you think Donald Trump knows the golden rule? And I said, yes, those are the instructions he gave to his interior designer for his gold toilet or whatever the hell he put in. So yes, he knows the golden rule. Look, when Kamala Harris and I and the folks here talk about freedom, we mean you should be free to live your life the way you choose. Your choice about your own health care decisions, about your own families. The freedom for seniors to retire with dignity by strengthening Social Security and Medicare. And for all of us here, and those who have little ones, and those who have grandkids, and just those that are just basic, decent human beings, the freedom to send our little ones dressed in their finest clothes off to a school to meet with a teacher and to be there and learn, the freedom to do that without being shot dead in their classroom. That's what freedom is. And this is Nebraska and the folks who are here, and I know, look, I know and you know, we know guns. I'm a veteran, I'm a hunter. Kamala's a gun owner too at the same time. Owning guns doesn't mean we can't be for common sense solutions to protect our children. It doesn't mean that. You can uphold the Second Amendment while upholding our primary responsibility, the safety of our children and our neighbors. And this is where you take the notes for that family member that's not sure where they're voting. Isn't it interesting how both members of the Democratic ticket are gun owners this year? But the guy on the Republican ticket can't pass a background check to get one. You know the 34 felonies that come up on the background check, they send you right out of Cabela's when that comes up, to be sure about that. So, all right. Well, look, I'm gonna speak to part of the audience here. I'm gonna speak to the men on this one because we're going, and there's a lot of you here. Look, all of you, for the women in your life that you love, your wives, your daughters, your mothers, your friends, all of them. Literally, their lives are on the line in this election, guys. That's what's on the line. Donald Trump appointed his Supreme Court justices who did exactly what he told them to do. They repealed the protections of Roe versus Wade, and he brags about it. He is glad that my daughter, your daughters, our wives have fewer rights than their mothers and grandmothers had. He brags about it. 20 states, including right here, now have the Trump abortion bans. He calls that a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. You're seeing it. You're seeing it all over. Women being denied care at the ER, having miscarriages in parking lots. Survivors of rape, Hadley Duvall. These are women's names that should have never been known by Americans because it's nobody's damn business about what they're doing with their health care. But we now know them. The bravery of Hadley Duvall to stand up and say when she was 12 years old, a child, raped and impregnated by her stepfather. And they told her, and J.D. Vance said, that there should be no exceptions for rape or incest, because he said, 2 wrongs don't make a right. There is not one damn thing right of what happened to Hadley Duvall, and what they're doing makes it so much worse. So look, to the men here, it's bigger than that. These are the guys in Project 2025. They want to control from contraception to fertility clinics. Fertility clinics that in states are now trying to close and turn couples away. Couples that simply want to have a family and use those services. And I said, this is personal for me. Again, you don't need to hear about my personal stuff, but my wife and I have talked about it. For years, we tried to have children, and it was because we could use fertility treatments that we have our beautiful family. And I'll be damned if any politician, especially Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, should have any damn say about your family and your access to fertility treatments. So look, when we take this Congress, when Kamala Harris is president and they send over a bill recodifying Roe versus Wade, the protection of women to make their own decisions over their own bodies, Kamala Harris will sign it into law. Look, I think we got to know, and I get this. We have 17 days, and I know in this amphitheater, I'm preaching to the choir, but folks, our recital is 17 days away. And we need to sing loudly. So it's important to know what's on the other side. If Donald Trump would be elected again, he would have the opportunity to appoint either 2 or 3 more Supreme Court justices during the next 4 years. This is a group of folks who already told Donald Trump, you have immunity to do whatever the hell you want to do. These are the folks that will be making decisions about the laws and this country for our children's and grandchildren's lifetime. They would have 6 of the 9 Supreme Court justices, and they would have no accountability over Donald Trump. And look, I know that's not the future you want for your family. It's not the one. So look, there's a solution. You and everyone you know vote for Kamala Harris, and none of that will happen. None of it. We're not going back. Look, there's plenty of reasons that the stakes in this election are really high, but let me give you one more. Some of you might have heard, and look, people are overwhelmed by this, and I run into people who say, look, I'm just not that into politics, I'm tired of it. Well, too damn bad, politics is into you. So, and some of these folks say, we got through one Trump term, and they rewrite the history of it. They don't recall that all of our neighbors were dying of COVID because his idiocy of neglecting science and telling us to inject bleach didn't do us much good. But I got to tell you this. They tell us we could survive another 4 years. I'm an optimist, and some of you have heard me say this. You don't survive the lunchroom for all those years without being an optimist. I am an optimist, but I truly don't know if the institutions will hold if we get another 4 years of Donald Trump. I genuinely don't believe it. And I say this because something has happened over the last few weeks that is unprecedented in our history. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the top military officer in this country, a decorated veteran, General Mark Milley, top military, he didn't mince words. He told us on the record that Donald Trump, and this is a direct quote, is fascist to the core and the most dangerous person that America has ever faced. This guy's not a Democrat, people. He's a lifelong military officer who served this country. And this week, James Mattis, Trump's own Secretary of Defense, endorsed that very view. He said Donald Trump, these folks, his chief of staff, John Kelly, another four-star general, said Donald Trump was the most damaged person he'd ever met in his life. So Trump's plan is to seize unprecedented power for himself with a Supreme Court that give him the right to do that. It's not hypothetical. Once again, I got to give credit to this. I said Donald Trump has no plan, not just a concept of a plan. He has an actual plan. It's Project 2025. And it's coming right from their mouths. They're talking about this. This one I have to tell you. Some of you might know who this guy is. He was Trump's national security advisor for a short time. His name was Mike Flynn. Trump has said, some of you don't know, I hate to encourage you to go look this guy up, but it's important to know. Trump said he would have a top role in the next White House. This last week, Mike Flynn was asked, think about this, this is America, this is not some fictional place. He was asked if he would lead military tribunals to carry out executions against those who are against Donald Trump if Trump were to win. That's what he was asked. So, America, the answer to that is, are you out of your goddamn mind? But no. Mike Flynn's answer was, we have to win first. That's the guy he wants to give the key. Because look in mind, you know who he's talking about? He's talking about me. But don't kid yourself about this. When they're done with me, he's talking about you. That's what they're talking about. Because you have the audacity as an American to come and express your political views in a safe and nonviolent manner that is in the best tradition of who we are, and countless people fought and gave their lives for us to be able to do this. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I'll be damned if I'll give the flags to a fascist like these guys. And I'll be damned if I'll give them family issues, because we know where the family value's set. We're not going to give them freedom, that's for damn sure, because we know what freedom looks like. And just for good measures, I'm not giving them football, the posers, because they don't know crap. Look, the Donald Trump of 2016 is not the Donald Trump that's running now. He is far more unfit than he was in 2016. He's more deranged. He's more desperate to keep his butt out of prison than he was in 2016. And he has made sure there's no guardrails. When I asked J.D. Vance a simple question in debate, did Donald Trump lose the election? He wouldn't answer it. he answered it this week. He said, no, he didn't lose the election. So just to be very clear, if J.D. Vance had been sitting where Mike Pence was sitting, they would have overthrown the elected government of the United States. There's a word for that. It's called traitor, just so we know. There's a word for that. And you know it here, and Tony Vargas knows it. God knows the spineless Republicans in Congress won't do a damn thing to stop him from doing whatever he wants. So look, you know it. There's one way we stop this from happening. You came here. We came here with the courage. Democrats, independents, Republicans across this state. Think about it. Think about it. You tell me how bad Donald Trump is that he brought Bernie Sanders, Dick Cheney, and for Christ's sakes, Taylor Swift onto the same ticket, on the same ticket. So look, folks, we do this the right way. We do it the American way. We get organized, we make the phone calls, we do the door knocks, we knock, and we clean his clock on election day and win this thing. That's how you do it. So 17 days, folks, and this thing's close. We're still the underdogs. It's still a race, but we're leaving it all on the field. Return your mail ballot today if you have one. Don't wait. You can vote early at your county election office, Monday through Friday. Be sure to bring a photo ID, Nebraskans. If you're not registered, you have until October 25th. You can register in person. You can vote at the same time. If you want more, iwillvote.com/NE. So tell your neighbors, get them out there. Look, we need to door knock. We need to phone call. 1 or 2 extra votes per precinct could make a difference, and you know that. I know we ask much. If you got a little, you can go to kamalaharris.com, pitch in a buck or two, and to know what that does, that puts buses at polling stations to take people to vote. It puts another door knocker out on the door. It runs one more ad on Facebook, wherever it might be, to get out this positive message about a new way forward. We can do that. And I have to tell you, I think all of you know this. This thing is going to be close. The blue wall is going to hold across the north of America, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Minnesota. But you do the math, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, the rest of the states, 269. 1 dot makes the difference. Look. Blue dot. Look, you're inspiring the rest of the country. It's because you believe in democracy. You believe in freedom. You believe it's done. We're going to end this thing on the right thing. The vice, she talks about when we fight, when we vote. Omaha put us over the top. Let's go.